Nation of Fit and 10, welcome to day 35. We are officially at the halfway mark. We're halfway through the challenge. Now, keep in mind that your final scan will happen after the challenge ends, officially speaking. So there's a couple days, a couple bonus days maybe you can think of there. But we are, officially speaking, we are halfway through, if you can believe that. Already halfway through. I told you this goes by super fast. More questions here, so let's just get right into it. How much rest should you have between training body parts? How do you know when you overdo it? All right, so this is really volume dependent. So the more you exercise a muscle to a certain point, the more rest you're going to require. So you can get away with a program where you're doing the same body part every second day. That's not going to be an issue, so long as the volume is low. Okay, well, I guess intensity, I shouldn't say I guess. Intensity will play a part in this, but this is assuming the intensity is high. All right, so let's just assume the intensity, that is, you're working really, really hard. You're working near muscular failure or muscular failure. That is, you're lifting heavy enough weight in a relatively short period of time where you're reaching the point where you can't do it anymore. All right, that's what I mean by high intensity. If you're doing this and there's a lot of volume, you need more time to recover. So, but if you're doing one or two exercises, you can train every second day. You're not going to be quite that sore, at least not in that particular muscle group. How do you know when you overdo it? This could be, or I would consider this to be like, how do you know when you're overtraining? There are some signs. So for example, you might have an overuse injury. That's common. You might find that you can't produce force as easily. That's usually a sign that your nervous system is not recovered. A typical example of this would be like if you lift very, very heavy. I know a lot of you have not done this, but if you lift very, very heavy on big compound movements like a squat or a deadlift, and you come in the next day to work out, and you'll find that your force production just isn't there, and that's just because your nervous system it's not recovered. And that is just rest, okay, in particular sleep. Some other signs: if you get sick, if you feel tired, if you feel like you're not interested in training, okay, and that doesn't count for if you're always not interested in training, of course. This is obviously if you're regularly interested and all of a sudden you're just not interested in doing it. These are all signs that you're overdoing it. Generally speaking, however, you shouldn't need more than about 3 days of recovery. So another question here, are there any benefits to doing cardio 5 or 6 days a week as prescribed to you for Fit in 10 if you find it sustainable? All right, so again, this depends on what our goal is. I'm going to assume our goal here is fat loss. No, there's nothing wrong with this. Listen, I exercise every day, so if I'm not doing weights and I'm doing a cardio / mobility routine that I do, so I'm doing something every single day and I find this sustainable. So I like to be active every single day. So if you find that doing cardio 5 or 6 days per week is totally doable for you and you have no issue with this, then by all means do it. That being said, if you're doing cardio that frequently, I would make sure that some of your cardio is, at least some of it, if not all of it, is lower intensity, okay? If you're doing some of it higher intensity, that's fine, but I would try to do lower intensity. And again, when we're talking about intensity with cardio, we're talking about a low to mid-range heart rate. All right, high intensity would be bringing your heart rate to near maximum. All right, let's get to the message of the day. I'm going to keep this very, very short. And this is an important message. So don't forget, this is my favorite one. It's really cheesy, but it is something that I think is really, really important to remember. It goes like this: don't forget, you can start late, you can start over, you can be unsure, you can act differently, you can try and fail, and you can still succeed. After all of that, you can still succeed. I'll say it again, don't forget, you can start late, you can start over, okay? You can start over and over and over again. You can be unsure. You can act differently. You can try and fail, and 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 you can try and fail. And you can still succeed after all of that. And again, this is a quality that those who are successful in whatever endeavor they're pursuing, this is generally a quality that is present in those that, for lack of a better description, succeed in what they do. That is, they keep trying. You know, I've been impressed, we'll just use the word impressed, surprised, impressed, with people who can take, you know, huge amounts of criticism, can have all everything stacked against them, have gone through failure over and over again, and they're just resilient. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna keep trying, I'm gonna keep moving forward, and I'm gonna get there. And it's just like they're just so tunnel vision. And this is something that I don't think is common in human nature. I would say it's really not common. It's probably why we don't have a huge amount of people out there who are achieving their dreams. But I believe that this is something that we can learn over time, and this is something that we can mentally massage into ourselves. So I'm gonna say it one more time here. Don't forget, you can start late, you can start over, you can be unsure, you can act differently, you can try and fail, and 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 you can still succeed. After all of that, you can still succeed. All right? Every day is a new day. Okay? Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for the love of God, give some gratitude, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.